Sterling Academy wasn't just any school. It was the school, a private academy for the rich, the privileged, and, if you asked the wrong crowd, the right kind of people, nestled in a pristine part of town. Its sprawling campus screamed money. Ivy-covered walls, marble floors, and a gym that looked more like an NBA arena than a high school facility. But beneath the polished surface, Sterling had its own set of rules. Unspoken, but ironclad. And one of those rules, if Grant Wheeler was coming for you, you'd better stay out of his way. Raven Tate didn't care about rules like that. A junior at Sterling, she was one of the few scholarship kids who'd managed to claw her way into this elite world. With her sharp mind and sharper focus, she was all about keeping her head down and getting through the day. That morning, she was laser-focused on one thing, her AP Calculus quiz in 5 minutes. She turned the corner in the hallway, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her braids bouncing lightly as she walked. She wasn't thinking about drama, but drama had a way of finding her. Standing in the middle of the hallway, like some wannabe movie villain, was Grant Wheeler. At 6'2", with a linebacker's build, blonde hair, and a smirk that could make your blood boil. Grant was the king of Sterling Academy. Or at least he thought he was. He came from money, had connections, and carried himself like he owned the place. Worse, he had a nasty habit of treating anyone he deemed beneath him like dirt. And today, his target was Raven. Well, Grant sneered, leaning against the lockers with a mocking glint in his blue eyes. His voice echoed through the hall, loud enough to make heads turn. Looks like somebody got lost. You sure you're in the right place? Raven. A few students stopped in their tracks. Others slowed down, pretending to check their phones. But really, they were waiting for the show. At Sterling, when Grant picked a fight, you didn't interfere. You watched. Raven tightened her grip on her backpack strap, her jaw clenching. She'd dealt with Grant's snide comments before, too many times to count. The whispers about her scholarship, the jabs about her not belonging. She'd spent months ignoring him, letting his words roll off her back like water. But today felt different. Maybe it was the stress of the quiz, or maybe she was just done taking his crap. Either way, she wasn't in the mood. Move, Grant, she said, her voice sharp and steady. I don't have time for your garbage today. The hallway went quiet. A few kids exchanged looks. Did she just say that? To Grant Wheeler, his smirk widened, but there was a flicker of something dangerous in his eyes. Oh, you think you can talk to me like that? He stepped closer, towering over her, his shadow swallowing her smaller frame. You don't belong here, Tate. This school isn't for shove. Grant's hands shot out, pushing Raven hard in the chest. She stumbled back a step, catching herself before she could fall. The meaning behind the shove was crystal clear. A warning, a challenge, a power play. Gasps rippled through the crowd. A few kids pulled out their phones, sensing this was about to go from bad to viral. This wasn't just bullying anymore. This was a spectacle. Raven tilted her head, her dark eyes locking onto Grant's. There was no fear in her gaze, only a quiet, simmering intensity. You really don't want to do this, she said, her voice so calm it sent a chill down the spine of anyone listening. Grant scoffed, his laugh dripping with arrogance. Or what? You gonna run and cry to a teacher? Go ahead. Little girl, this ain't your place. He shoved her again, harder this time. The crowd tensed, some kids stepping back, others leaning in. They could feel it. Something big was coming. But Raven, she was done. She rolled her shoulders, exhaling slowly, like a fighter stepping into the ring. All right, she muttered under her breath. He asked for it. In one fluid motion, she dropped her backpack to the floor with a soft thud. Before Grant could even blink, bam! Raven grabbed his arm, twisted her body with the precision of a martial artist, and flipped him over her shoulder like he weighed nothing. Grant Wheeler, the 6'2" king of Sterling Academy, hit the floor hard. A loud, sickening thud echoed through the hallway, silencing every single person watching. For the first time in his life, Grant wasn't on top. He wasn't the untouchable bully everyone feared. He was flat on his back, staring up at the ceiling, his pride shattered into a million pieces. The hallway was dead silent for a split second. Then chaos erupted. Oh my God. Someone screamed, laughter followed. Then claps, then cheers. Raven adjusted her backpack, stepping over Grant like he was nothing more than a speed bump on her way to class. "Told you," she said, her voice as casual as if she'd just swatted a fly. The crowd exploded. Kids were high-fiving, phones were out recording, and someone even yelled, "World star." Grant groaned, rolling onto his side. His face beat red with humiliation, his hands clenched into fists as he glared at Raven's retreating figure. This wasn't over, not by a long shot, but for now, Raven Tate had just turned Sterling Academy upside down, and by lunchtime, the whole school would know her name. By lunchtime, Sterling Academy was buzzing like a beehive on fire. The video of Raven Tate flipping Grant Wheeler in the hallway had spread faster than a California wildfire. It wasn't just in student group chats anymore. It had hit Instagram, TikTok, and even Twitter, with captions like, "Rich kid gets destroyed by black girl at elite school," racking up thousands of likes. "Yo," she straight up destroyed him. One kid said in the cafeteria, replaying the clip for the 10th time, "I didn't know Raven could fight like that. She's a freaking ninja." Bro, people who'd never even spoken to Raven before were suddenly crowding her table, asking a million questions. "How'd you do that? Where'd you learn to fight? Can you teach me?" Raven just shrugged, trying to eat her sandwich in peace. She wasn't here for the fame. She just wanted to get through her AP Calculus quiz without any more drama. But the high fives and the whispers followed her everywhere. For the first time, Sterling Academy wasn't talking about Grant Wheeler, they were talking about her. Not everyone was happy, though. Grant wasn't just humiliated, he was furious. He'd spent years building his reputation, making sure everyone at Sterling knew his name, feared him, respected him. Now he was a joke, a meme, a laughingstock. As he sat in the corner of the cafeteria with his boys, Hunter, Mason, and Tyler, he seethed, his face still red from the morning's embarrassment. "This ain't over," he growled, his fists clenched. "She's gonna regret ever crossing me." Raven should have seen it coming. Maybe if she wasn't so busy dodging high fives and answering questions about her martial arts training, she would have noticed the whispers, the way people looked at her with a mix of admiration and fear, the way Grant and his crew stayed unusually quiet, watching her from a distance. But she didn't. So when her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, "Meet me at the gym after school, no cameras. Let's settle this." She barely hesitated. Of course it was Grant. Of course he wanted a rematch. She wasn't scared. Maybe she should have been. At 4:15 p.m. Sterling Academy's gym was a ghost town. The high ceilings, polished wood floors, and championship banners hanging from the rafters gave it a grand, almost intimidating vibe. Raven stepped inside, her sneakers barely making a sound. The second the door slammed shut behind her, she knew she wasn't alone. Big mistake coming here. "Tate?" Grant's voice echoed through the gym, cold and menacing. Raven turned, and there he was. But he wasn't alone. Behind him stood Hunter, Mason, and Tyler, his loyal goons, all big, dumb, and ready to back him up no matter what. 4 against 1. So that's how it was gonna be, Raven sighed, crossing her arms. "Wow, you really must be scared of me," she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Grant's face twitched, his eyes darkening with rage. "Shut up," he snapped, taking a step forward. "This isn't about being scared. It's about respect." He smirked, but there was nothing friendly about it. "I mean making sure you never forget your place." Raven's stomach twisted. She'd heard that line before. From people like Grant, people who thought they owned places like Sterling, who thought people like her didn't deserve to be here. But she pushed the anger down, taking a deep breath. "Stay calm, stay focused." Grant swung first, a sloppy, rage-fueled punch with no control. Raven dodged effortlessly, twisting to the side. Amateur. Then Mason lunged at her, trying to grab her from the left. She ducked, sweeping his legs out from under him. He collapsed with a grunt. Tyler came next, charging from behind. But Raven was ready. She elbowed him hard in the ribs. Crack, and he stumbled back, gasping for air. Hunter hesitated, clearly rethinking his life choices. But it was too late. Raven spun, kicking him square in the chest. He flew backward, hitting the floor with a heavy thud. 3 down, 1 left. Grant's face was pure rage now. He rushed at her, throwing wild punches, each one more desperate than the last. Raven dodged every single one, her movements smooth and precise, like she'd been training for this her whole life. Then, bam, a lightning-fast kick to his gut sent him staggering back. Before he could recover, Raven stepped forward, grabbed his collar, and slammed him down onto the gym floor. He gasped. Stunned, his eyes wide with disbelief, she crouched over him, her voice low and dangerous. "Don't ever touch me again." The gym was silent. Grant groaned, rolling onto his side. His goons still sprawled out on the floor, defeated and humiliated again. Raven stood up, brushing off her hands like she'd just finished a chore. She didn't need to say another word. The message was clear. By the next morning, Sterling Academy had a new queen. No one feared Grant Wheeler anymore. They feared Raven Tate. No one whispered about her behind her back. They whispered about what she'd do if you crossed her. And Grant, he learned the hard way. There are some people in this world you just don't mess with.